following Nikola Tesla, Dr. Henry Murray, from a period of like 1910, he worked on free energy. And he developed a system, listen to this, folks. He put out 50,000 watts of power on the desktop. And that was in 1953, but he couldn't get it patented. The patent office demanded he be able to explain where the energy is coming from, and he didn't know.
These discs were hovering off the floor without any visible means of support. They were referred to as alien reproduction vehicles, also nicknamed the flux liner because they used high voltage electricity.
Colonel Harrison was a co-pilot on the first atomic bomb test dropped in Bikini Atoll. He also served as a special assistant to Admiral McCain at a very top-level security position. He's one of the guys that was truly a secret keeper, and he did it even from his son until the day that he died.
The fascinating part, which Harold Puthoff has contributed to, is that gravity and inertia have now been fairly theoretically proven to be related directly to zero-point energy, the actual field effects of zero-point. When you go around a curve, you're actually bumping into zero-point particles, and that's why you feel the inertial effects.
John Searle claimed to have a disc-shaped object. He built a flying saucer that he said worked using the Searle effect. Now, the Searle effect has been confirmed at the Russian Academy of Sciences in Moscow. There's two Russian physicists, PhD physicists, confirmed what John Searle claimed.
At the end of the First World War in 1919, a number of German secret societies began collaborating in the development of flying saucer prototypes based on the designs received through the telepathic communications of an unusually beautiful and highly skilled psychic medium, Maria Orsic.
During World War II, Germany was taking extraterrestrial information and putting in production 12, 14 different extraterrestrial type vehicles. They're manufacturing them using slave labor.
One of the original blueprints of the alien reproduction vehicle, which I produced in March of 1989, it was put together by accumulating a lot of verbal testimony from a number of other sources, including Ken Snellen and some other people that I talked to who had some contact or information about the vehicle.
In the story that Raymond wrote, there's a meeting called in the Pentagon. The chiefs of staff all come to the meeting, and there's a president's representative there, and there's this big table. In the middle of the table, there's this plastic-wrapped bunch of burned junk. And the president's aide tells the assembled scientists and professors who've been called in from all the United States and the generals, he said, look, I know you're not going to believe what we're about to tell you, but something extraordinary happened last week, and we need your help to solve the mystery.
But when we say free, you're not going to have to stick your paddle in a river in order to turn a generator, or you're not going to have to burn oil or gas in order to fire a furnace that will build steam to turn a generator. The device itself is tapping the sea of energy that we live in all of the time and creating the energy that we want.
Well, as far as the free energy technology is concerned, that's pretty old technology, to be honest with you. I mean, it's been around for a long time. The question still remains, the reason for its suppression. Is it perhaps a danger in the wrong hands once you're dealing with a potential for weaponization?
It could be partly that. It could be partly on some people could claim national security on economic grounds if it would destabilize the United States, for instance.
What perhaps is the most important conclusion of the scientific community is that zero-point energy is not conserved. Hello, I just said something remarkably incredible. I said the conservation of energy law doesn't apply here. I mean...
And Maria Orsic was a very talented psychic, and they recognized her as having this ability to communicate not only with these inner Earth beings, but also with these off-world extraterrestrial species. And so this is where in the early 1920s, Maria Orsic starts getting this psychic information, and it's the basic blueprint for building a space-time device.
I obtained photographs that were taken in 1967 by a military pilot, Harvey Williams, flying a C-47 for the Air Force at 12,000 feet, approximately 25 miles southwest of Provo, Utah. This particular vehicle matches the so-called ARV.
He said, we have some of it on film. We were testing this young fellow's device. We were testing it last week with him, and here's the film we took. And you see this young, kind of red-haired, freckle-faced scientist looking smart aleck. And he's got this little chest pack and a backpack and a little belt, and he's standing in front of some of the generals there in a football stadium. And he reaches down, he pushes a button, and he lifts up off the deck 2 or 3 feet.
You're never going to get free energy as long as your system stays linear, as long as you don't change space-time somewhere or another. In other words, as long as you have to put in as much as you get out, you're never going to get free energy.
Most physicists tell you that free energy is impossible. And the reason being is that they don't know about negative energy states in particle physics.
Well, we all know that the education system is very outdated too, with the new physics and the new research and discoveries and experimentation around the world. It's mostly only published in scientific journals, never makes it to the university.
Yeah.
The storyline basically is that there's a lot of work going on in the aerospace industry that would indicate that we have black projects that have gone even darker, and that there's work being done on electrogravitic, scalar technology, etc., that we don't even think that those in Congress or even in the military that approve black budgets are aware of.
And eventually, after about a decade of secret laboratory research and development, they came up with the first prototype, which is called the Vril craft, and that pretty much coincided with Adolf Hitler coming to power.
Almost 90% of that was taken out of Germany before the war even stopped. It was taken to Antarctica and is still operating there today.
Right.
Many generations may pass, but in time our machinery will be driven by a power obtainable at any point in the universe. And so there, ladies and gentlemen, is the basic birth of the concept of zero-point energy. Tesla was so intuitive that he basically perceived the existence of something that was just barely being discovered.
Then he pushes another button and he rotates sideways and lifts up about 40 feet and takes off, flies around the football field and comes back around for a low pass over the generals. Everybody ducks, and there's a puff of smoke. Quick explosion, he nosedives into the deck and dies. The package on the table holds the remains of the guy's instrument.